gonna hope that it all works. Hello, everybody. Ideally, the stream should be up and going right now, but we'll find out if it is, and we will also find out if the sound is working. So, I'm also going to post a quick message. If sound not working, please shout at me. There we go. Because I'm testing a new microphone right now, which would be quite fun. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we'll see how that one goes. There's a microphone I'm testing for the charity walk. Charity walk, you can find the link down below. It's the one that says Gary Speedwalk on it. There is also a link to the charity match. £7 for adult tickets, £3 for child's tickets, and that'd be fantastic. I'm just waiting on some clarification as to whether or not the sound works. Because if it doesn't, we're in trouble. Because this is the microphone I'm planning on using for the charity walk. Sounds perfect. Brilliant. Okay. And that means that I can also do a shout out to the company that sent me this microphone. The company is named, I don't know if you can read that, Mauna. And apparently, they are a Chinese microphone creating company that are looking to sort of expand beyond just like selling in China. Which means that they decided, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to do some advertising by sending some people some microphones. I was one of these people. And it seems to be working okay. I'll listen back afterwards just to make sure that all is fine, but it should be fine. Not brilliant, but can hear you still. That's all that's not it. In reality, I'll probably move it a little bit higher up. This is more of a test. Also, interestingly, this is really clever. I've not seen a microphone company do this before. It's not clipped on. It's got a magnet on the back. That's really good. I really like that. Anyway, the bit of news that we are covering in this stream, I should probably bring up again because I've managed to completely lose it. Well done, Joe. It's dropping out a little bit now and then. Right. Okay, that should be a little bit louder, but I'm relying on you guys to let me know. Anyway, let's hop over to The Athletic. Sounds okay. Thank you very much, Darren. Must be the jumper. I think it will be the jumper, to be honest with you. Weirdly, I feel like having a big thing padding your voice is probably not the best. Anyway, let's get into the bit of news that I am talking about because, as mentioned, whilst I'm not in the office and all that kind of stuff, I will still be doing a video and a live stream per day if I'm able to. This is one of those. This is the live stream. And The Athletic came out with the Leeds United transfer deal sheet article earlier today. I thought we'd have a quick skim over. I know this isn't the most creative of video making. However, sometimes there's a bit of news that you can't help but listen to, that you need to have a little bit of a dive into. This is one of those. So I'm going to hop through it section by section, talk through things, answer any questions, and then sort of give an idea of where that puts us. But the new decoration behind me, it's not a new decoration, it's just me being at my parents' house. Because the charity walk starts on Monday, I've got work in the morning in like 8 hours. This is the problem though, right? Because in 8 hours, I've got work. In 25 minutes, money in the bank starts. So I can't make a decision. Anyway, let's get into the article. It starts off by sort of running through who's going to make the key decisions this weekend. And it mentions everything in theory rests at Marathi. But he's consistently taught collaboration, primarily Daniel Farker, who has made sure that step by step by step, he's considered a manager. He manages the club, the entire thing. The club being apparently where I have been, Michael. I'm going to need some context on this one. Um, but Daniel Farker stating that he is the manager rather than the head coach says that he has a very, very, very big say in decision making around transfers because that's what managers do. And him having that much control is sort of essential. And we heard a little bit about that back in January when apparently he turned down a couple of targets. Turned out fine in the end. But beyond that, the 49ers are sort of losing a little bit of structure in terms of recruitment staff. So, for example, the ones listed here are Greta Steinson left, Jordan Miles left, Angus Kinnear left, and Nick Hammond went with him. It's four pretty big names that I got, and it looks like for the most part, Leeds United have looked to promote from within to sort of replace those, and that makes complete sense to me because you've got to take the steps that you planned. And a lot of the time, if someone understands the structure of the club and understands the way that it works, it's going to be a bit of a safer way to take a step forward. So I'm kind of glad that we're taking that approach. Specifically, Alex Davis, who's been at the club for more than a decade, has worked his way up to become head of recruitment after impressing Morate since the 2023 takeover. Marathe Farker Evans, who was Robbie Evans, who worked with Marathe at the 49ers in 2010, is now managing director. And Adam Underwood, who again has come up through the inside the club, which is kind of a good thing. I'm going to go step by step through the article, but if you guys have any questions at any point, chuck them in my direction, and I'll get to them whenever it feels relevant. So if I've already covered that bit of news, then I'll just get to it as soon as possible. If I've not got there yet, I'll save it up, and then we'll get to those when it comes to it. Also, I've forgotten to do show comments on the stage. There we go. You guys are showing up down here. Sly only went for Rodrigo Moreno, who I think is maybe on the old side now. But then we are talking what positions we're looking at. Obviously, we know goalkeeper. That one is without a doubt going to have to happen. But it goes on to say, if survival is decided in both boxes, it means a first-rate striker. Peru, admittedly, did very, very well. He scored 32 in 88 appearances. Not bad in the slightest. But I think solidifying there is also key, and it's also noted that left back is an absolute must. Byram last year of no, Byram doesn't have a contract. Sorry, Junior Firpo doesn't have a contract, so need a centre back. Probably a left winger if we're unable to get Manor Solomon, as was discussed recently, and a number 10 feels key because we've only got one of those. It's Brendan Aronson. He's not the most creative player. So if you haven't yet, then he's right. Please like and subscribe. That's always really beneficial to the channel. Helps things to push along a little bit. And for every subscriber that I've got on the day of the Leeds Creator Cup, the charity match, I will be donating an extra 1p to Prostate Cancer UK. So at the moment, that's about 62 quid. But you guys could severely hurt my bank account if you spam that button. I say spam that button. It's sort of one per person. But please do so. That would be massively appreciated. Anyway, then we got to get into the next bit, and it's the part where we ask if there are any players that we're targeting specifically, and that's where the conversation goes to Rodrigo Muniz. And nearly said Moreno, and that's entirely because Sly distracted me. For some reason, there we go. I couldn't have clicked that, but there we go. I did in the end. As stated in the article, very few accurate transfer links have emerged as of June the 6th. Planning for a Premier League season has been in the works for 6 months. Targets sounded out. And it's very early days because it kind of is. Pre-season is still a month out. It's going to come after-ish the Club World Cup, probably some sort of time in terms of training. But in terms of actually needing a squad together, the sort of deadline for that is the Scum match in Sweden, which we've got plenty of time to put together a squad for. The name that has mainly come up is Rodrigo Muniz, who was mentioned in, I don't know why I said it like that, because that was nowhere near Brazilian, who currently plays for Fulham. And I had a look at his numbers, and they're kind of ridiculous. So last season, I'm going to have to bring the numbers up again, because for some reason I completely lost them. There we go. Yeah, so in the last 365 days, he's in the top 5% of forwards for goals per 90, which is ridiculous. So every 4 games, if you give him 90 minutes, every single game, for 4 games, he'll get you 3 goals on average, which is not too bad. In terms of shots, 3.64 per game, top 10%. He's a good player. He's not the most creative. He's not going to create many opportunities for you. So in terms of assists, 0.09 per 90 isn't fantastic. It means if you're playing him for an entire season, you'll get 3 or 4 out of him. The thing that really impressed me about Muniz is his defensive stats. So you can't have a player coming in to a club that is almost certainly going to be fighting against relegation, because that's the role that we take at the moment, and not have them do some defensive work. Statistics are very impressive. Top 22% of forwards for tackles, top 3% for interceptions, top 14% for blocks, 8% clearances, and this is the wild one, right? Because you've got to consider this guy is 5'10". For aerials one, he is in the top 2% of all forwards, and that is including some very, very tall forwards. That's kind of an achievement. That's kind of what we need, because when you look at this Leeds United side, a lot of what we don't have is that much of a presence in the box. So if he's able to do that, he's able to win 6.2 aerials per 90, we'll be in a very, very good spot. I'm kind of excited for that. I'm kind of hopeful. I've decided I'm just going to do the chat at the end of this bit, because I'm just having a little bit of a quick speed through what's going on, and then we'll have a bit of an natter. It is a relatively, where's he gone? Relatively late night, yes. That is because I'm currently at parents' house. Living room is the best place to do a stream. However, I'm just waiting for everyone else to go upstairs because I don't want to be that guy that's like, excuse me, guys, can you leave the room? I want to do a stream. That feels really, really rude. Instead, I have simply chosen to do this, which I think is an easier approach. I don't mind a slightly late stream. Next segment is about who we're looking to sell, and this is quite interesting. Melier is absolutely probably gone. 1 year on his contract. I don't see him sticking around there, especially don't see him starting. He won't get funds, but it's almost all going to be PSR profit because his, as it is called, book value, which is the after amortization value, is basically on the floor. So everything that we got would be profit. So I think it works. One second. I'll talk Beyond in a few minutes as well. Someone remind me. Once I've gotten through the article, I'll talk Bijou. Would be great, but is it realistic? The article itself says he's only got 1 year left on his Fulham contract, which is a pretty good spot for us to be in when you're looking at signing players. So him having a reduced value is definitely beneficial to us. Only started 8 last season, and if it looks like Fulham are interested in a forward, that basically opens them up for us, I think. To be clear, this has happened once. It's not a sign of it. So I'm not doing the UFC. I might do if one of the Money in the Bank matches is on first. I might do Money in the Bank, but we'll find out. But yeah, club sources speaking anonymously to protect relationships have acknowledged the Muniz interest, but feel other strikers on their shortlist are more likely to be recruited at this stage. So that tells me Muniz is one that we can go for, that we've got a bit of an eye on, but won't necessarily jump at right now. They do have the option of an additional year. There's just a question mark over whether they'll trigger that or not. They don't have to. It might protect his value a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a position where he actively wants that to be triggered if he wants to be playing football, because I don't see that necessarily happening at Fulham. Anyway, back to the sales. Pure profit on Melier. Whatever we get is going to be PSR profit. That's fine. Voba probably goes, and it's noted here that any fee over £5 million would generate a PSR profit on the books. I think we get 5 million for Voba. I think he's comfortably worth that. And then you've got your JB, Greenwood, Gelhardt, gone. Let's be honest, they're not going to play at all. Harrison probably out. His book value is now below £3 million, so we could bank a bit of a profit. But the wages are spooky, which is supposedly around like £90,000 a week. And then it's followed by, if the club is desperate to bolster its PSR position, the likes of Strauch and Nonto would generate the biggest profits after low sum arrivals. I don't think that will happen because we're still reasonably within our PSR limitations. It's just a bit of a question mark on if we see someone that we really, really want him. Those are a couple of chips that we'd be able to cash in, sort of. There's a little bit on loaning as well, including Bio, probably Chambers, probably Crew, probably maybe James. But Greenwood and Gelhardt, gone. Moves made already. Gilavogi is already gone. Firpo and Byram have offers, but that's a question mark. And then Christensen already gone. And then in terms of the amount that we can spend before we are out of PSR space is about 42 million. Uh, yeah. So it's a weird one. So that budgeted £100 million, I don't hate that. I think that's fairly reasonable. It will get us a lot of decent players and that will potentially keep us up. But how that turns out, I'm uncertain. And that was approximately the end of the article. So I'm going to have a little bit of a run through the comments. It'll be a very quick skim at first, and then I'll try and do everyone once I catch up. But hold on, that was fun. I don't know whether that came through on the mic. Oh, let's have a look. Jesse's Canada wins again. Who were they playing against? Because that could make a little bit of a difference. Canada, not cricket. Oh my God, it's the reverse Jesse Marsh. Fewer shots on target, less possession, fewer passes, less pass accuracy, more fouls, more yellow cards, fewer corners, and they still did a win. Remember how Jesse Marsh's thing was by the numbers we should have won, by the numbers he shouldn't have won. Also this, like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Let's catch up a little bit. Um, mm, mm, mm. You are very, very brave, to be honest with you. That'd be nice, but it doesn't really feel feasible, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, the visual thing. Um, had a bit of an ask around a few people. Sorry, I don't know whether I was hiding the mic for a second. Um, and from what I'm aware, the source on the visual thing is kind of bollocks. And there's also interest from AC Milan. So whilst we might have asked the question, I severely doubt the thing on agree in personal terms. If I was feeling like especially brave and rambunctious, maybe I'd be tempted to do the whole let's do a clickbait and talk about how we're definitely signing visual. But I kind of feel like that isn't gonna go on. That feels like one of those that is a little bit too much of a bollocks for me to want to go in for, which is I guess good, because it's a sign that I'm not willing to sort of jump on any and all bits of news to be like, "Look at this, look at Shiny, we got a new player." I read an X story on it earlier. Did saw him mention it in the Creator Cup chat, but I didn't know that he'd done something on it. I'll have a quick look. Uh, uh, mm. Placed it for Serie A just like Kurtovic, not that fast, no ball carrying. Premier League has a different intensity. Udinese play with back three, though he plays in back four for Slovenia. Different intensities linked specifically with pace. 1v1's decision making. Our right centre back usually moves a lot, gets wider and ball carries is a different profile. For the way they play in tactical setups in Italy, are perfectly suited into Milan. Yeah, it doesn't quite look like, but who knows? We'll see. What's crack? It's a narcotic substance that was often discussed in the 1980s, named as such by Ronald Reagan in order to get it a bit of a worse reputation and sort of like, this is a genuine fun fact from it. Um, how do I talk about this without getting demonetized? That's always a fun question that you need to ask yourself, isn't it? Okay, so um, the fun white sherbet that you often see on toilets at football stadiums, that's traditional name that sounds a bit more like a medication. Let's go with codeine, a little bit similar to that one in terms of name. Um, its name changed to this. Hold on, where are we? Here. Significantly because of Ronald Reagan. Because in terms of the fun sherbet, a lot of the sort of Republican elites had a little bit of a sort of tendency towards that. Whereas he wanted to sort of like create an othering situation of, but these people doing it is a bad thing. So that was sort of the creation of the term flag. So that's fun. Mm. Our first aim needs to be a statement to create a magnet from the players, aka Dr. Gordon in the Wilkinson era. I think so. I think someone pretty big would be a good idea. Not, it doesn't have to be a sort of big one that is like, it's this one and it's nice and shiny and special. It's just to kind of, I can't see your comments. Who, what? I mean, I'm not gonna say to like ban someone just because like it's fine. If someone wants to spam stuff and I'm not gonna necessarily check it anyway, then it's not a big problem. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us over to our wonderful place, to Questions Corner. If anyone's got any questions of any sort, chuck them in my general direction. My question to you is, from 1 to 10, how would you rate this microphone currently? That's interesting to me. I kind of want to know. Also, I'm going to do a test. Right? So I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to walk across the room and I'm going to talk quite quietly. And I'm going to move the microphone and I'm going to move it up to my face and I'm going to talk really quiet. Can you let me know if you're able to hear that? I kind of want to know how good of a microphone it is. And it makes it really, really hard to work out when I can't actually hear myself. Okay. I'm moving across the room. And hopefully that's worked. You see, this is the fun testing that you have to do when you're going to be in hotel rooms for the next, like, 4 nights. 5.5. I mean, I'll take it. Like, it's audible. Um, yes, but let's not get into that. Um, the time that I do politics on streams, right, are the times when I feel like I want to have a bit of a purge in the chat. So if people are like, I do not mind people having other political opinions, that's fine. It's when people get straight out like hateful for no apparent reason and straight up like directly insulting to people on the other side of the political conversation. And at that point, I just sort of go, okay, so I'm going to do a stream specifically about politics. And if people want to air themselves out, go for it. Yay. Problem is, you're in a place where you're in a different environment, you lower the volume of your voice. That's true. Yeah, that doesn't help. But then again, I'm going to be in a different environment for the next few days. Absolutely the fuck not hot weather. Um, so it looks like we've got a couple of days of really hot stuff in the middle. That being Wednesday is bad because Wednesday is supposedly 26 degrees and it's also 28 miles. That's the longest days, which isn't fun. Yeah, so cool is ideal. You want cool and dry. You want the perfect temperature so your feet don't sweat because what tends to happen whenever you get blister, right? As a rule of thumb, if it's cold but dry, you won't get any blisters because blisters are caused by friction between toes, but it's worsened by water being there. So if I'm doing this, that is flowing really easy and it's not sort of catching, but if then there's a little bit of rubbage. And it's that happening constantly between either two different toes or sock and foot or dodgy bit of shoe and foot that makes blisters happen. So something dry is the dream, and something non-sweaty would be quite good. Sounds a bit hazy if that makes sense. In and out. Right, okay. I'll have to work on that. See if there's anything I can do about it. I've just pressed a button and I don't know what the button does. Uh-oh. Hold on. I don't know what the button did. Am I still on? Shit. Oh, I hope I'm still audible. Because if not, that wasn't the button to press. That was a bad button to press. Yeah, I've got a big old Amazon order coming at some point tomorrow, which is going to be quite good. Still on, we can still see it. That's good. Keep a spare pair of socks on hand. Oh, Simon. I have so many pairs of socks. So I've got the pair that I'm wearing now, which are going to be my evening socks, is what I'm going to designate them. They're the ones that aren't walking socks. So if it comes to it and I need to just, at the end of day 4, I can just whack on some very, very, very loose shoes or some slippers or something and just wander, and that'll be fine. Then I've got 4 pairs of walking socks already in my bag. We're getting a pair from the Square Ball lads who have them from, I've forgotten the name of the sock manufacturer, but I will tell you, is it Dan Tough maybe? Something like that. Um, and then um, also my brother did the Yorkshire Three Peaks recently, which hopefully It's fine. I'm gonna nick some of his socks as well. I did think that, yeah. Um, and I did have a little bit of a concern too, right? With say a bit of an extreme fitness regime. If I end up injuring myself, it's a problem, isn't it? I'm gonna come on for the first 5 and the last 5 minutes as like charity minutes, and then be like, okay, so for the rest of the time, I'll just sit in the commentary box. I'll sit in the commentary box. I'll chill, have a vibe with production. It'll be great. It'll be nice. I won't have to cause myself any further harm. It'll be all good. 2 or 3 pairs a day. I don't have 2 or 3 pairs. Well, the thinking is, because I'll have like maybe 6 pairs of socks for 5 days. I could just keep them on a rotation. So on Thursday, you can go back to one of the Monday pairs. Maybe. If it rains, you're fucked. Because once that sock gets wet, you're done. If I train it under your walking socks, it stops. How do you mean? My plan is, because I've got a bunch of like various like tapes and stuff. I just tape the fuck out your feet. I've got a couple of like those gel caps as well for your toes that keep them a little bit separate. But that'll be fine. Trainer socks. Ah, I like your thinking. I do like your thinking. I might bring some trainer socks. But then you might be rubbing on the shoe rather than the sock, which is a concern. I think JT might be younger than me. I don't know. Unsure. I got myself a pair of Ultras for this because they have like a massive toe box in the front. And I noticed that all of the other charity walks that I did, it was on the toes where I got blisters the worst. I'll occasionally get one, like on my heel or something. I got one in the second year. This is a fun story. Um, sort of on the top of my foot, but on the outside, which wasn't good. Um, because what I'd done on day one was I taped my feet up, but I'd used the wrong sort of tape. So it was this really, really sticky stuff, which was, I'm 27. So JT is an absolute child by comparison. I think he'll be the manager plus January. I hope so, because that would mean that we're doing quite well. In terms of what I think will happen, I will be honest, I've got no idea. Could not tell you. Anyway, I'm going to give it another minute or so, and then I'm going to bring the stream to a close, just because it's nearly time for money in the bank, which is going to be great. I've got some zinc oxide stuff, which typically is what works, but that's not for toes, that's for outside of foot, primarily. Walk 5K every day, dry socks are the best for to do. That's the plan. Yeah. Weather sheet wall hiking socks itchy as hell. They can be, it depends on the socks that you get, I think. So like for the past 4 weeks, because like a couple of like walks ago, I got the shoes like a day or two before the walk started, and that was a bad idea. That was awful because I hadn't had a chance to wear them in. I got these about 4 weeks ago, and throughout I've been sort of keeping track of right. Okay, if I take a step in the wrong way, does this bit hurt? Does this bit hurt? Does this bit hurt? And that's sort of teaching me how to tape, I think. This will be the final question for the stream. Hey, thank you. I really, really appreciate this. Um, I'm gonna try to watch until after the first ladder match because I've got work at like 7:30 in the morning. So that's the plan. Anyway, I'm gonna leave the stream there. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, put a like on it, subscribe. You can become a channel member as well. Remember, if you subscribe, you are effectively costing me 1p. Because for every subscriber that I've got at, we'll say, full time of the Leeds Creator Cup, I'm putting 1p into the sort of donation bucket, which is currently going to be about 62 quid, but you can cost me even more, so that'd be wonderful. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Before we get going, this isn't current. This is, I think it was Sport Zone or someone that reported it, and no one in the creator group chat knew who they were or had anyone to correct them. So, anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you with a video tomorrow. Toodaloo.